everyone, I'm Dawn. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for visiting with me today. In this video, we're going to talk about YouTube content creator Bullhorn Betty as she relates to the search for missing 15-year-old autistic boy Sebastian Rogers. If you don't know, 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers went missing from his Hendersonville home sometime during the night of February 25th through the very early morning of February 26, 2024. He was reported missing the morning of February 26th.
Helpless and hopeless and many other emotions all in one, and it's a never-ending roller coaster. It doesn't stop.
As of the date of this video, September 13th, 2024, Sebastian has still not been found. Now, I've read a lot of comments on other videos about this particular situation we're going to be discussing, on why the entire focus isn't on finding Sebastian. Now, I do agree that the focus should be on finding Sebastian, but there is a problem when it comes to highly publicized missing children cases, and that is overzealous content creators. I don't think anyone has a problem with content creators putting the child's face out there and asking their viewers, their supporters, to spread the word in the search for any missing child. I think that's important. I think the problem is content creators that try to put themselves in the center of things, that try to get involved themselves too much in the lives of the child's family, and content creators that harass the families of the missing child. Yes, the focus should always be on finding that child, but when content creators over-insert themselves, maybe they have to be made an example of and be dealt with, because they are the ones shifting focus. They're the ones doing it. You know, turning a look for this missing child into a look at me scenario. Content creators who use their platforms to aid in the search for missing children need to remember it's not about them. It's about the missing child and their families. It's irresponsible content creators that force a shift in focus, not law enforcement and not the families of that child. If a family has to shift to deal with harassment from a content creator, like over-the-top harassment, well, that's the content creator's fault. It really is. And that brings us to YouTube content creator Bullhorn Betty. Now, I don't know a lot about her. I know she yells at her camera a lot, but I don't know much about her. I haven't formed an opinion. I've heard varying opinions, that she's a strong advocate for children, which I admire, to she's a dangerous grifter, which I have a problem with. I don't know, but we're going to talk about what's going on with her with this particular situation. And if I get something wrong, miss something, or if you have something to add, please kindly put that in the comments. And I will only acknowledge kind comments, as always. So Bullhorn Betty was accused of harassing Sebastian Rogers' family. Katie Proudfoot, Sebastian's mother, claims she was being stalked and falsely accused by Bullhorn Betty, and earned an order of protection against the YouTuber, whose real name is Andra Griffin. Griffin was arrested for an out-of-county warrant for contempt. She was charged with violating that protection order. So yeah.
A woman accused of harassing Sebastian Rogers' family was arrested. The missing teen's mother earned an order of protection after claiming she was being stalked and falsely accused by a YouTuber. Andra Griffin, also known as Bullhorn Betty, was booked into Sumner County Jail. Clarksville police say they initially arrested her for an out-of-county warrant for contempt. The Florida woman was charged with violating that same protection order. 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers disappeared in February from his family's home in Hendersonville and will soon be
The Sebastian Rogers case allegedly is not the only case she's involved with inserting herself into. Although Griffin probably believes she's exercising free speech, but if she has in fact harassed these people, she has crossed a line. There is a way to speak up and have a loud voice to help children, but don't harass people. Don't do that. Not only does it affect someone's safety, a content creator has to recognize that their behavior may embolden their supporters to follow suit and also harass families of missing children. Although some may admire Bullhorn Betty's passion, she should be a little more careful with that passion, if that's what it is. Maybe Bullhorn Betty thinks she's helping, but she's taken focus away from the search for Sebastian, and that's not okay. Her heart may be in the right place, but her actions aren't. She is another content creator that asks for money to cover her legal fees. That's another thing she's been doing, allegedly. If you're going to behave irresponsibly, you should be able to self-fund the legal costs. It's no one else's responsibility to cover the cost involved with, being someone who chooses to harass and violate laws. People forget that it's about finding a missing child and should not be turned into a circus, although the Sebastian Rogers case has been a circus. Again, I have no problem with Bullhorn Betty. I don't know her personally. What limited exposure I've had to her, I do admire her passion, unless I'm misperceiving that passion and it's really something else driving her. I don't know if her focus really is on helping children or getting attention on herself. There's so many varying opinions out there.
Sebastian Rogers disappeared from Hendersonville back in February. His family was in the courtroom today for a YouTuber accused of harassing and stalking Sebastian's mother and step-grandparents. Now, an order of protection banned Andra Griffin, who's also known as Bullhorn Betty, from having any sort of contact with the family, directly or indirectly. Court documents also claim she violated that. News 2's Caitlin Quisenberry was in the Sumner County courtroom to try to get both sides of this story.
Sebastian Rogers' mother, stepfather, and step-grandparents have largely remained out of the media, but they claim Bullhorn Betty has stalked and harassed them. The courtroom was split today into two sides. The YouTuber and Sebastian's father, Seth, sat on one side. His mom, Katie, stepfather, Chris, and step-grandparents were on the other side. Court documents claim Bullhorn Betty violated the order of protection by mentioning the family on a live stream. The brief hearing ended with the judge saying the matters would be heard on October 10th. Seth Rogers tells me it was frustrating to sit in a courtroom while his son is still missing.
It is extremely frustrating that I have to come here to support somebody, which I don't mind coming here to support somebody that's supporting my goal of finding my son. But the fact that I have to come here because four people, want to put restraining order against somebody who's just trying to find my son, and yet Sebastian is supposed to be her son as well.
Seth added that he believes Andra is only exercising her First Amendment right and has not done anything illegal. I also spoke with Sebastian's stepfather, Chris Proudfoot, who says he has no comment at this time. In Gallatin, Caitlin Quisenberry, News.
It's obvious any threats of legal action were not taken seriously. This should be a lesson to any content creator that takes it too far. Also, Seth Rogers, Sebastian's father, says the focus should be on the search for Sebastian, but instead he's in court to support this content creator and placing the blame on Sebastian's mom. Well, Seth, you don't have to be there, and in my opinion, it looks like Seth is encouraging the harassment against his ex-wife by showing support for the defendant. I understand that Chris and Katie Proudfoot are not viewed very positively, and a lot of people suspect that they have involvement in Sebastian's disappearance. But even still, harassing them And breaking the law is not going to help the situation. It's only going to make this more of a circus and exacerbate things.
And I'll set this matter for a hearing on October the 23rd.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Now that takes care of the criminal matter. Now, as to the issues before the court, there is pending a Rule 60.02 motion filed by the defendant, Mr. Griffin, in these order of protection hearings as it relates to the order of protection on Terry Bowersox Sr., Maddie Bowersox, and Katie Lynn Proudfoot. The matter pending is still pending with Christopher Proudfoot.
Your Honor, our Rule 60 was intended to cover all of those orders of protection.
There's 4 of them that are listed there.
Thank you.
If not, they're all listed on the sheet. The only issue is the matter regarding Christopher Proudfoot is still an ex parte order, as it's never had a hearing on that day. And so any motion to reconsider or set that aside would be premature, because we've never had an issue. We've not had a hearing on that matter. It was set for last Thursday, and it was continued on to this Thursday. So that Rule 60.02 motion to reconsider judgments as to Mr. Proudfoot is hereby denied, because that is premature in its filing. And so Mr. Frizzell, if you'll do an order as it relates to Christopher Proudfoot, I think his case is case number 3893, 2024 civil.
That's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you all later. Thank you. Bye-bye.